Hello everyone, today we will talk about the transit of Venus. Transiting Venus is in square with natal Ceres. How transiting Venus will behave in a square with natal Ceres depends on the position of natal Ceres. This transit may be more prominent in your life if you already have planets aspecting your natal Ceres. But the basics are as follows. When transiting Venus squares your natal Ceres, you will become more focused on changing the dynamics in your relationships, work, or health habits. But while this transit favors social interaction and helps you think about pleasant things, you'll also find your interactions with others a bit erratic now, despite being quite socially active. A unique and fascinating dynamic between your emotional and practical realms. But while this aspect will present some challenges, it also offers opportunities for growth and understanding. Simply being with someone leads you to tasks and organization that you can do together. The way you express this tension will have a more romantic way of doing your work through creative ideas. Venus has a certain curiosity, which will lead the opposite party to explore possibilities through many examples or to simply take up new hobbies that will push their boundaries. Be that as it may, it is important that the awareness of new desires and hobbies that emerge from within, do not begin to pull your interest in a direction that is in conflict with your previous trajectory. If this happens, it's best to keep an open and classic work towards ideas that encourage change, while at the same time keeping in mind the temporary nature of this transit. Otherwise, there will be a lot of superficial work that leads to unnecessary waste of time and energy, or that you hold back too much by pretending to be polite, because you simply lack social graces, which in the end makes it difficult to really connect with others. In the end, all this will not be favorable for business because you will easily give in to the wishes of others. It would be best if, when you find yourself in a calm and routine mode, you look for activities along the way that can provide some kind of recreational stimulation while still keeping things light and airy. Along the way, consider visiting a museum or an art exhibition where you can immerse yourself in the beauty and creativity of various art forms. Listen selectively to what people convey to you. Because although you will feel uncomfortable and limited by loved ones who are suffocating your lifestyle at the moment, see to it that you give yourself at least a little tender loving care before you devote yourself to the needs and responsibilities of those you care for. Family members or especially partners will be particularly difficult to satisfy at this time due to both the incompatibility and the tension of the planets. While social and household chores will seem disturbing or disorganized. But the task is to harmonize things for peace and harmony. Venus' intense transits with Ceres is not overly enthusiastic, but the square itself, which can last up to 5 days in certain situations, brings very creative ideas that you will include in the routine part of your work, exercises, or eating habits in the future. But be careful and don't take everything too lightly, for example by unintentionally doing something you don't want to do. Just to create harmony by figuring out ways to satisfy all interested parties. Your daily understanding of love is more practical, focused on logic and analysis rather than pure emotion. While you find your partner intriguing, there is also a magnetic attraction, so you will solve problems with understanding your partner's thinking when it comes to romantic relationships. On the other hand, if you express your feelings through routine tasks and habits, such as, "Dear, I vacuumed the house," with meaningful gestures that will convince your partner of their commitment, then you will be pulled out of some kind of comfort zone into unknown territory, and this is often a necessary step in order to change your life for the better. But if you are lazy and find it difficult to move, your close relationships become more distant because it is difficult for you to do what you feel you should with your partner. The aesthetic experience will open up new perspectives and ignite your imagination. As you explore new spaces, you'll likely find yourself mesmerized by the intricate details and symbolic representations within the artwork, allowing your mind to wander and connect with the deeper meanings behind them. That is why it is important to visit a museum or an exhibition, in order to learn something about others, and at the same time avoid shallow conversations. These adventures will eventually, if adopted, become the love language of the partnership. Another manifestation of this transit can be that instead of you being the one to initiate the change in the relationship, it is coming from the partner. If so, you will have to come to terms with the reasons the other person gives for wanting to change. Tense aspects are often set to approach love from different perspectives. If you have natal Ceres in Pisces, it will manifest itself as a challenge even in the simplest ideas, because everything will seem like an exaggeration in plans and in a practical sense a dead letter on paper. However, as we have already stated, this transit also represents an opportunity for growth and understanding. Instead of viewing your differences as obstacles, consider them complementary tensions that can enrich your relationship every 6 to 7 months.